Hello and welcome. Silrace here with World of Tanks. So I have two games here for you. Made from two replays, obviously, because I do these things from replays. Well, just want to clarify that at the beginning of basically all of this, just in case somebody is confused and whatnot. These are being made from replays. You know, let's just be transparent about that. Anyway. So, I have an IS-6 game here first, and then an IS-2, as in the Russian version of IS-2, the premium tank, not the Chinese IS-2, which is a Tech 3 tank, not a premium tank. I don't know what was like the confusing stuff with some of the vehicles in this game. Anyway, I wanted to show these two replays for a simple reason. To kind of highlight, at least from my perspective, the importance of repositioning, of not getting tunnel visioned, not getting so overly focused on pushing the one thing where you go at the beginning of the game. Because in a heavy tank, I like to push this side in this game, in this particular map, on this particular map rather. I like to push this side. And I am being pretty dang aggressive here, as you can tell, as you can see, and clearly tell. This is, I just generally play fairly aggressive in these games, and especially when I play heavy tanks. Get right in there and essentially, hopefully force my opponent to make more mistakes than I make. I'm not claiming to be any good, but I also recognize as a player, when you put somebody else into a sort of a more stressful situation, they are going to start making mistakes, and then you can try and exploit those mistakes, and that's something I recognize fairly well. Usually, I try to push that on them. However, at this point I also realized that wait, we don't have the other side of the map anymore. Technically, we don't have either side of the map because, well, our folks are sitting in the middle and the very far back. And so I'm like, okay, well, I still have two tanks here hanging around, and this side, for me at least, is not that difficult to hold, because there are a bunch of sneaky positions you can stay in while shooting at tanks which are trying to push through. Here. So, I am instead going to reposition entirely to try and support this other side. Now, granted, I make a mistake here. I should have gone around the KV-3 instead of being in front of its gun, in case these guys start pushing and he needs to get a shot off. That's a minor mistake. Thankfully, it didn't end up being a bad one. So what I'm doing here instead is that, well, my teammates are mostly in the middle. I have no reason to go all the way to the like 9 and 0 line, because there are no teammates there, and this tank is a blind as a bat anyway. So let's just go to the middle. I think, as far as, you know, having basically just returned to the game and whatnot, just, well, not just, but a little while back, and slowly learning how to play this thing again, I think my actual strength in this game is minimap awareness. And as I have mentioned in a previous video of mine, it mostly comes from the fact that by far my most played, and that's an obsidian, which I still have no idea how you are supposed to fight that thing. Like, are you supposed to go around it? Which part of the track you are supposed to shoot? It has those weird extra wheels in the front and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, when it's sideways to me like that, then you just, you know, obviously just shoot it, right? That makes life easier. But this is me now, essentially pushing through the middle then. But as I mentioned, as I was saying anyway, the minimap awareness, that's mostly because I have played so much RTS games, real-time strategy games like StarCraft Brood War and StarCraft 2, Dawn of War, all of these things where minimap is basically the game. That's where you play most of it. And this is where I'm like, okay, well, I have friends surrounding me, so I have fire support. Let's do what I did at the very beginning again, and let's force that situation on the dude in front let's see if they make mistakes I can capitalize on, and I can have friendlies capitalize on. And at this point, the teammates, well, I got shot by the ambush, but then I finished that job. At this point, the friendlies have essentially cleared out the post that came through the 9 and 0 line because of camping at the back and stopping that in its tracks. And the KV-3 even pushes now that side, because there is no fire support from the middle anymore to the 1 and 2 lines. Oh, we crushed the middle. And so game which was going pretty dang badly just a moment ago, pretty well changed in its outcome. Mostly based on repositioning and people doing their jobs and such. I don't know why. Well, that shot didn't actually go anywhere, but I don't know why you are just sitting there out in the open like that. But well, you do you. I will shoot the other one. And I would like to say that I had at least somewhat of an well, influence on the outcome of this by deciding to abandon the flank I had already pushed halfway through and simply going like, well, let's go through the middle, because that's where all my teammates were to begin with at that point in time. And now this is very much looking like a one game, right? Very much looking like a one game. Nope, didn't get that shot in. And a final tank to be hunted down. So we were down on tanks. And this to me highlights the importance, very much the importance of like, look at the minimap and be willing, even in a somewhat slower tank as this is. I am going at 25-26 here in the middle of, you know, this grassy land. It's not a speedy tank. Be willing to abandon what you were doing to go somewhere else where you hopefully have more of an impact on the battle. And it's a very, very good, you know, thing to remember for yourself and for hopefully for everybody else. Now, granted, that play can obviously backfire as well. And there you have it. There is the one game on that. Probably, I am only one out of the 15. I can't attribute the victory to myself, but I would like to say that I had at least a, you know, a positive impact on it. Let's hop on to the next one. So game 2, or replay 2, I suppose, whichever you want to think of it. IS-2, as in, to clarify again, the Russian IS-2, the premium tank, and not the Chinese IS-2, which is the in the tech tree. Man, that is so confusing. But you can very much see kind of my playstyle right out of this game as well, because of how aggressive I am at the start of my, how far I push the position since I am given the room to do so. Now, I fully expect whenever I play this side of the map that this is where I have to stop. Like, as soon as I get here, I am gonna get absolutely just mauled, but I am not. Like, yeah, there is one tank shooting at me. Well, if you give me all of this free space to start moving forward, I am absolutely going to do that. This T-43 and the others on the other side obviously helping a whole lot to create this free space for me. So I am going to push all the way to that corner in the front. Granted, there can be tank destroyers at the back there and whatnot, and there will be, which are going to make playing this position up here a lot harder. However, as I mentioned in the previous game, I like pushing this sort of like mistake thing on my opponent, and I should have aimed that shot properly, but I was just fully waiting for the shot to come in, and hello. You push out here, I missed the shot again, but you pushed out here and you take damage on making a clear, but it is clearly a misplay, pushing out sideways in front of multiple tanks, because I am here, because essentially I am putting in pressure, I'm making them feel threatened. I am right in their faces. And this is the sort of plays I like to make. Not that I am a very good player myself, I don't claim to be. However, even better players than me, who played a lot of the game a lot more, are not necessarily going to make the best decisions when it comes to situations where they feel under pressure. And creating those situations where people feel under pressure, that's how I try to, you know, elevate myself or my own play up a little bit. A little bit further than where it actually should be. So yeah, I am just pushing this, and it is about this point where I am starting to realize that, wait, I am actually losing my base. The opposing team have absolutely just taken the other side. I don't know which all tanks actually went that side to begin with, I can't remember at this point. You know, I couldn't remember at this point. Maybe nobody just actually really went that side either. But us trying to grind this corner here, to push through here, will likely not achieve a victory anytime faster than going around and making sure the base is safe and then pushing the other side or coming back here. And this is where I realize, okay, well, we have 3 tanks right here and they have the SPG support and everything else. And there is a Tier 7 heavy basically right in our base. Let's go around. This thing is faster than the IS-6 as well, so it can actually do this a little bit better than the IS-6. With some of those slower heavy tanks, I always question myself, okay, if I spend a minute and a half repositioning, am I still going to be part of the game after that? And so that's the balancing act sort of thing. But here I am like, well, bloody heck. Let's go. Tiger B is almost dead. And now what we can do, if these folks can hold that corner, the friendlies I essentially abandoned there, if they can hold that corner, we can take out this Tiger B that my teammates are already taking out, and I'm taking the long way around because I don't want to get shot at from the middle. I don't know who all is camping in the middle, from the tank destroyers and everything else. I can push the other side and create a pincer movement. Instead of just trying to grind that one single corner until we have slowly pushed through it, and when we have finally pushed through it, realize that, well, we already lost our base and everybody in place is dead. Because I couldn't know who is coming in behind that Tiger P. There is the T-3485M finally, you know, spotted and stuff, and this is also where I'm like starting to get a little concerned, because I've been driving around for quite a while now to do this repositioning, and I realize my folks have been starting to lose that corner since I left. So now I have essentially created a pressure situation for myself where, okay, I have to win this other flank now, otherwise the fact that I basically abandoned them there is essentially a losing proposition again. But thankfully they are holding their own, which is fantastic, and I can just go and spearhead this, because if you look at my hit points, I can take hits still. I can take a whole bunch of hits. After all, a lot of this game is about being willing to trade your hit points for victory, essentially. For folks call it, often call it something like trading hit points with an opponent, like trading damage, and you will lose hit points, but hopefully your opponent loses them faster than you. However, trading hit points into a push is also a thing, because look at how much support I get the moment I start just going in here. I just start charging and my teammates are essentially coming in after, finishing the job. I lose half my remaining HP on that push. I'm not gonna stop it there. There is a big thing over there with lots of hit points, but fairly bad gun and stuff. I'm just gonna rush this shot, but not gonna hit anything. But well, I had chance, right? However, I'm not going to stop that there, because at this point still the other side is kind of losing, So I'm going to keep this push going. trade these hit points for a victory, right? So I'm just gonna keep this push going. And as you can look, if you look at the minimap again, I am going forward, everybody else is following, because hey, this is the sort of stuff which happens when you just beat the point tank and don't give a damn about the fact that you're gonna lose hit points, because you're going to lose hit points. Just go for it. And suddenly others on your team realize that, wait, we can just push, right? We can just push, right? Even people who normally play a lot more safe, a lot more back, are willing to, you know, sit around and wait for the perfect shot and so on. I don't see a damn thing. This is a blind tank, another blind tank, and that's fine. If I die, I die. Hopefully, with that death, I may have, you know, spotted somebody. But I got really stupidly lucky here with, you know, multiple shots from that big tank destroyer not going through. Really stupidly lucky. Sometimes you have to just rely on the random number generator on that luck. And you need some of it anyway for basically any and all of your victories. If you don't get at all lucky, then you rarely or almost never win anyway. So let the luck sort it out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes you get really unlucky and so on. However, I think that repositioning and me being really aggressive as I usually am in heavy tanks kind of secures this victory as well. Now, as I mentioned in the IS-6 game, I am not taking full credit on that victory. I am just one in the 15-member team. I didn't do crazy over the top damage or anything of the sort, and I got really lucky, especially in this game, by just, you know, a couple of those big tank destroyer shots getting, you know, bouncing off my armor and stuff. But I believe I made the correct decision of turning around many minutes ago now, going back into my base, through my own base, and all the way around the map, just to try and secure the victory. Let me know in the comments below if you disagree with my decision, and specifically, if you disagree, tell me why. Because just telling me that it was a bad play to do one or the other, that doesn't help anybody if you don't come up with an actual reasoning. And of course, everybody can just make the reason that, well, you're just gonna get ammo racked and you die. But that can happen, like random stuff can happen anywhere. You can't control that. You can control your decision making in the game. Anyway, hopefully this was entertaining. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully, you know, and if you didn't, let me know why this was a, you know, bad play to do and so on. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you folks next time with more World of Tanks.